Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. Welcome back to part 2 of pruning up my larch bonsai forest. In part 1 of this series, I explained my pruning philosophy behind the trees. I got the main tree pruned up and I started on the second tree, and then it started pouring rain and you couldn't hear anything. So I've come back today for part 2. I've got my pruning shears. Let's start today's work in the bonsai zone. I'm starting work on tree number 2 now. So I've started at the top and I got down to about here, and I'll keep going. Some of you might be wondering what's happening with my pickup truck, my truck for the orchard. And I did go out to see the truck yesterday. I was very careful. I didn't touch anything. It was after hours, so the place was closed. And just to see the progress on the truck. So I'll show you the video of that now. I am out here for this week's truck update. So the front end is still on. There's some of the headlight bezels are off. The fenders are on. There's the headlight bezels in there. Looks like the rad's back in. Fan. Fenders are on, primed. They look really good. Wow. You never tell there's any work done to those. That's amazing. That looks really good. Now that little spot down here is being fixed. There was a bubble of rust down there. There's a few on the door, but that's okay. I think, it doesn't have to look immaculate. Now they fixed up top here. That's kind of fixed. Oh, the new windshield is in. So that's exciting. Look at that. Perfectly clear. Interior is still to go. Not much of the interior in yet, but it'll get there. There's the cab corners. There's the rear brakes. And the springs. Yeah, looking good. Real good. There's a light out there. Tail lights off here. Guess they're just getting everything working. Here's the other drum brake. Hey, George. Good. It's coming together.
Ready for you Friday.
Really? No way. Really? All right. There's the front fender all ready. Looks amazing. Here's the front brake drums, suspension in there. Wow, does that ever look good? Tie rod there. Must be aligning the steering or something. There's the old battery. Yeah, looking good. So all the wheels are off. The wheels are over here. Well, that's what the new tire is going to look like, the big rough off-road tire. And those are the old tires, the sort of city tires. So that's it. Said it'll be ready next Friday. Wow. Can't believe that. That's awesome. And the hood's on. Everything's going together. So that was the truck for this week's update, and that was a really nice surprise. They said the truck will be done this week, so amazing. I'm really happy. I'll put it to work in the orchard, and it'll be nice having a truck. Remember in part 1 I said I was pruning off a lot of ramification to get the branches in tighter, and with 3 to 4 spurts of growth in the season on these larches, you can get a lot of ramification built in 1 year. And you know, I did the same thing, simplifying the trees last season, and you can see all the density of branches I have after just one season. So you can build ramification on larches quite quickly because they're very vigorous growers. Oh, they smell good when you're pruning them too. You get that really nice larch smell of the sap. So these lower branches, I'm trying to keep them horizontal or weeping. So I'm removing a lot of this upward growth or shortening it back to kind of create my fine chaotic style growth on the top. But in some areas I'm getting too much branch density, so I will have to take off some of the larger ones like that. Yeah, that was getting a little thick and getting a bit of a bulge in that area. Too many branches coming out from one spot. There's the remains of a third branch here I'm trying to clean out. Almost got it. There we go. That looks much better. When I was out videoing the update of the truck, I came across this beautiful oak tree, and I thought, wow, that's really inspirational for my royal oaks that I'm growing. I'll show you my royal oaks now. I managed to collect a lot of royal oak seeds that last fall, so I'll be planting more this spring. But here's my royal oak here. This is the strongest one, and you can see it's looking really good for this year. It's getting quite a thick little trunk on it. There's another one beside it here, and there's a small one at the back. So I've got 3 of them so far. This is some kind of vine I've got growing in there that I've been pruning. So yeah, I'm really excited about this one royal oak here. It's growing really strong and tall. I think it'll grow really well this year. This year I'll be putting it in bonsai soil, doing some root pruning and getting it on its way as a bonsai. So I'll show you that footage of that oak tree that was in St. Mary's. It's just, it was so inspirational. Beautiful tree. So there it is, what it looks like from the distance. Beautiful structure, just fantastic. So you can see the main trunk comes up, and then it's got a fairly heavy structure off to the right, a couple of branches, and then a vertical trunk that divides into 2 up here, or maybe 3, and goes skyward. So those kind of upright kind of trunks at the top. There's a few smaller kind of horizontal branches and weeping branches at the bottom. Looks really nice. There's maybe a better shot of the silhouette. Wow, it's just a beautiful tree. I'm going to go up close to the trunk and have a look at it. It's a fantastic tree. Enormous too. I wish I could show you me standing beside it, but I don't have a tripod. So yeah, definitely an oak tree. There's the base, and I'll try and show you. There's my foot as scale. So yeah, it's a big trunk. If we look up, really big up top. Now I should count the surface roots while I'm here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 there, 7, 8, 9. It's hard to see these, but you can kind of see a swelling where the roots are. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, about 13 surface roots. So quite amazing. Let's pan up now. We'll see the structure of the tree. So there's a wound where a major branch was removed, completely healed over. And there's that beautiful bark up top. And look at those branches there. Really nice bark and structure all the way up to the top of the tree. You can see how it all fans out from the center of the trunk. There's no major branches that kind of crisscross. It's only the fine ones at the very top of the tree that kind of cross over on top of the canopy. So there's like a straight branch here, but even the straight branch has all kinds of subtle movement to it, and that's what, you know, makes a tree look miniature, is getting that kind of movement in the branch structure. There's those weeping ones. There's one up here that's got kind of rounded right here. Interesting. Not many kind of curved branches. They're more, you know, look like straight sections that have kind of blended into each other. But yeah, what a tree. So there it is again from the distance. What a structure. That is a beautiful tree. Very inspiring. I hope to get my English oak to look like that someday. You can see the beauty of that old oak tree. It was just fantastic. And you can see how the structure looked like an oak tree. So when I see an oak tree styled like a pine tree with all the branches weeping and in that triangular form, I think back to, you know, what an oak tree could look like, and it makes a tear come from the corner of my eye. It's just, you know, when you see an oak tree that beautiful, and to me that's what a bonsai oak tree should look like also. It should look just as beautiful as those full-size oaks. The second tree is slowly getting there. Just checking the triangular profile. Getting a little long here, but I don't know if I can take that back very far. There is a branch behind here. I could take this whole section off, and I'll do that. Like that. That kind of gets that triangular form more in check. Now I'm a little high on this one. That one needs to come off to here, like that. The dead part here I can remove. Yeah, that looks much better. I'll take this off and take this one back too. Yeah, that's looking pretty good for that tree. It's getting a little heavy up top again. I'll probably do some carving today, I think. Getting those tops in check. All right, I'll keep going on to the next tree. This one. It stopped raining today, but it's also a bit cooler out, so you need a jacket out here in the greenhouse. But it's not too bad. So I'm trying to keep all these branches on the insides of the trees quite short. I don't want them growing and interfering with each other too quickly. I want space between all the trees. I should be able to start work on the greenhouse soon, the new greenhouse. I think the ground has thawed, or it's not frozen anymore, so that'll be kind of nice starting that. Thursday we're going to be digging holes in the orchard. Have a lot of trees to plant this year there. So that'll be fun too. And we'll keep our distance from each other. We won't take any risks. Everyone will just work in their own little section of the orchard. If we have to talk to each other, we'll just yell at each other from the distance. So we'll be very safe. We won't take any chances. So I'm just trying to get this bottom branch to kind of pick my weeping branches, if I can. This one. Some of them I don't have much choice. This one kind of sweeps upwards a bit, and all I can do is prune to downward facing buds and see what grows in, and slowly work on the tree, on the branch. All our club members from the KW Bonsai Club are keeping in touch with each other through email, sending photos of the trees people are working on, and so that's kind of nice. Missing the club meetings, that's for sure. Boy, some of these branches really grow, especially the ones on the outside perimeter of the forest. They get the sunlight and they just just grow like crazy. I'm going to take this section out. It's too cluttered, this branch. There's too many branches crisscrossing over top of each other that it was just getting too much of a jumble in this area. That one's going to come off to there. A very vigorous branch, this one, especially for being down low. Just pruning up some of last year's midsummer pruning stubs. Now, I'll get rid of this branch. It's just too much congestion there. One shooting straight vertical here. Getting better, this branch. I can take this section off. Keep that drooping. I can take this one out. Take the tip off there. Shorten this one back to here. That branch is looking pretty good now. Yeah, I am happy with that. It's a nice lower branch there. Now I'll do the one that's above it here. You can kind of see these two branches and the one above are kind of all directly in line with each other, so most of the lowest branch is coming towards me, so I'll try and encourage the branch to grow back towards the tree so they're not directly over top of each other. Yeah, that's about all I can do on that branch. I think I can take this part off there. Yep, that's pretty good. This one is shorter, so this one gets the light out here on the tip, and this one's in closer, so it's not too much of a problem. I've always had two Saabs in my backyard. I got them really cheap, and I was going to fix them up and drive them because I've always liked driving Saabs. And I've realized that I don't have enough years left in my life to do everything I want to do. So I kind of want to concentrate on bonsai. This has always been my first love, I guess, or my first hobby. And cars have been a close second, but the hobby of bonsai has taken over, you know, by a long shot. I really like bonsai, and so I found a person, a Saab enthusiast, who could put the cars to good use. So I gave the two cars to him. He can either use them for parts or fix them up and restore them. So I said goodbye to my one Saab last week. I'll show you the footage of that. Here is my Saab 900, and I've given it away to a fellow who loves Saabs. I just don't have time to fix it up, so here it is on the trailer. It's heading off towards Hamilton. Fantastic cars, these Saab 900s. So off it goes. One last look. And then I'll be saying goodbye to my second Saab. This week he's coming to pick that one up too. So that'll be nice. It'll clear some room in my yard. I'm going to expand the bonsai area back further a bit, making, you know, more room for benches. I got to get my greenhouse built this summer. So I have enough projects going on without worrying about fixing up old cars. I'm going to work on the apex of this tree now, and I've got a lot of possibilities in this apex, so let's have a look at it. So here's the apex of this tree. I've got a branch here. I could prune that whole part off and I'd have a slanting apex, but I don't think I'd like that. So I'm going to keep this as the apex. You can see I've got 1, 2, 3 branches in the apex. I could reduce that back to 1. I don't need all that clutter up there. It is kind of nice to have a branch on this side up in the apex, but it kind of comes off vertical here, which may not be the best. I'll just prune this off shorter here. I do like the fact the apex comes forward. And I got a back branch here that I can take off because it'll really thicken this section up. So I'm going to take that whole back part off. All right, so here I go. Just like that. So that takes a lot of that vigorous growth out of the apex, and that should keep this nice and slender. I think I will have to take this branch off. I do have one here that will grow out in that area, so I'm going to take this one off also, like that. So that zapped a lot of vigor out of that apex. I'll take this back branch off to here, and then I'm going to get rid of this one growing up on the inside here. Shorten this one, this one, this one. And I think I'll even take this whole section off this tree, or off this branch. I've got some good shoots growing out the front here. So I'm going to take this whole section off, like that. That reduces a lot of vigor in that branch. Take this one back. This one coming out the back here I can remove. Now, this one, I've got a weeping section in it. I'll cut this back. I don't want a weeping section in the apex, so I've got to remove this weeping part here, which I'll take right back to here. I might have to clean that up. There's a lot going on there. I'm going to take that one section off there and there. So that's got that branch cleaned up really nicely. Nice and short and compact. There's one at the back here. Take that back. I gotta take that horizontal one off actually. There's a dead stump I can remove there. And this one could come off. And I'll take that one off there. That's got that branch in check. Now I've got one more here that's competing for the apex, and I don't want that. There's that to there. There's a dead part here I can take out. That, and take this one off here, and here, and here. Now, still fairly vigorous, this branch here. I don't think I need the part that's going towards this side, so I'm going to remove that whole section here, like that. That's much better. And then I got another one I got to take back here and clean this part up. Like that. So that's got that apex looking good. I'm going to work on the thick upper part of these trees. You can see the bulges in them. Just too much material up top. So I'm going to show you my other larch tree, my single larch, and I'll show you what I did with a section on that trunk that had a bulge on it. So let's head out there now. So it's way over here. Hopefully we can get to it. Right here. So this tree had a big bulge on the one side. So I got my pruners and I took a large section out of the trunk on there. And it really shocked me how quickly it healed. And now you can't even tell I did anything there. And that was only like 2 or 3 years ago. Oh, I can see birds have been digging in my moss here. So I'm thinking of doing something like that on the apex of those trees. Carving a section out, and hopefully it'll heal as quickly as these ones did. So that's what I'm going to try anyway. Once the needles come out in spring, you don't even see this upper trunk here. It just fills out with foliage. So the only time it really bothers me is usually in spring. Even in fall you have all the needles on the tree and you don't really see the apex all that much. So I'm going to correct it, and there's a dead branch over here. So I know I've got live branches on this side. So I know if I carved away a section of wood here, that I wouldn't affect these living branches. They're, you know, all the energy is coming up the trunk to them on this side of the tree. So this side of the tree isn't doing a whole lot. It's, you know, it kind of goes up to that dead branch. There may even be a bit of dead wood on this side of the tree naturally because this branch died off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to nibble away at this side of the tree to make it more slender, and hopefully it'll look good. I'll use my curved branch pruners, and I'll have to come in and eat away. There's a branch that was removed there. So this is kind of my slender part of the trunk here, right here. Kind of very slender there, and then it starts thickening up and just gets worse in this section. So this branch is quite thick too. If I can get a back bud or something down lower, I'll remove the thick branch and replace it with a more slender one in the future, but right now I don't have that option. So all right, so here I go. I'm going to try this technique and hopefully it'll work. Here goes my first bite. Like that. Bite number 2. Like that. Got to go deeper. And I'm just looking. All those branches back here are dead also. I may have to prune that one off. It's hidden from the front anyway, so it's coming off. And I've got to eat into here. Like that. Carving away. Still looks too thick from the front, so I have to keep going. And you have to remember that these wounds will form scar tissue. So you've got to take off more than you think. Otherwise it'll just heal over and still look bulgy or thick in that area. So and do I like doing this? No, I don't like doing this to the tree, but well, it's looking better from the front anyway. I don't like doing this to trees, but so I need to take some more off here. Well, that's looking much better from the front. I'll show you a front view. There's a shot of the front view of the apex here. You can see it looks a lot more slender and more natural. I don't know what's going to happen to the tree in that section, if it'll heal properly or if it'll heal over and just create another bulge in this area. It'll probably get a little thicker in that area, but hopefully not too much. I don't want to take it back any further. We'll try this for now. And now I'll work on the second tree. This one here, it's getting very heavy up top. There's a shot of that second tree. Now I've got to look where I can carve material away on this one. I would say, because this branch is, you know, pointing towards the inside of the forest, I could remove that, but that one is quite a fine branch. So if I remove that one, I carve it away here, I may kill this branch on the apex. If I carve this one away, it would look straight to the tree. I'm going to remove that inner one. It makes a nice straight trunk then. Now, the second question is, can I get in here? So I'm going to have to sacrifice that branch. I'm going to have to remove that. So here I go. I don't like doing this. Well, there's a big chunk taken out, and I still have that living branch. I wonder if I can keep it. Ah, it still looks thick in this area. It's not bad, it's better, but I just know that's going to get worse in the future as it heals over. So I got to take that branch off. Sorry, branch. Here we go. And I've got to carve that back more. I'm going to have to come in from the back. So, I don't know if I can get it from the back very easily either. I'll try my other tool. I think that might get in there a little more easily. I might have to come between these branches, yeah, and nibble away. That's what I'm hoping. I think it's going to kill this branch up above that wound too, but we'll see what happens. I think it's more important to get the apex thickness sorted out than to worry about, you know, what branch structure will be left with, because this was a major flaw in these trees, is that thickening upper part. Just always bothered me. Now it's looking better, but I don't know. There's a branch at the back that I think might have to go. And I hate to do this, but it's just too thick in this whole area here. So I'm taking it right back. I've seen larches recover from these kind of cuts. You know, the apex is vigorous and they tend to heal over quite quickly. And, you know, it's not uncommon to have some dead sections in the top of trees because they get hit by lightning occasionally, and you know, sometimes they just get weak up there from the wind and things die. So that's looking better in the front view. It's quite a large scar, just some right in this section here. All right, I think that's got to be it. Let's have a look from the front now. Here's a look at the forest now from the front. So hopefully the top of the trees look much slimmer and more natural looking. So that's, I guess that's the front view there that you're looking at. I don't like doing that to trees, but I think that was the only solution. You know, other than cutting the entire apex off or making the whole top of the tree dead and then growing a new leader up. That might be a possibility in the future, is to, you know, maybe develop that cathedral style branch structure up top eventually. I don't know, we'll see. But for now, I think that was a good step forward. And I'm not sure what's going to happen to the branches in this area. Something will live, that's for sure. There's a good live vein going up to it. But how well they'll heal over is another thing. I think it'll go okay. I think you'll start to see those wounds rolling over and it'll look quite natural. We'll see anyway. So back to a little lighter tools. And I'll finish up the pruning now on the rest of the trees. Keeping my apexes as light and simple as possible so I can avoid doing that to these other trees in the future, so I can try and keep those tops as slim as possible. Alright, so here I go. I think it's time to simplify this apex here, and I've got a nice apex growing here, and there's a big thick branch growing out the side there that will need removing. So I can come in here and remove that entire branch, which is quite a thick cut. Just like that. See that? That's quite a section I took off. And the apex looks lighter and more natural. It's a good choice, I think. So there's some vigorous shoots here. I'm going to take off the heaviest one. There's two growing from one spot here. That one's gone, which was also a fairly thick branch. Reduce this one back to 2 buds. Reduce these back like that. Get rid of my vertical section here. There's one shooting straight up. Prune my apex back. This one back. Remove a vigorous branch here. And another one here. So that's got that apex pruned up quite nicely. It's quite a bit simpler. I could even maybe take that one back to there. And there's a stub in here. So yeah, that's a lot simpler. It won't thicken up quite as quickly. Hopefully not at all, but just reducing some of these branches back now. Getting that first branch simplified there. Now we'll do the one out back. This one here. That's quite a vigorous branch. So taking all that vigor out of the branch, it'll help keep this branch slim so it doesn't, get too fat in the future. There's one going in towards the center of the tree. I'll take that off. Clean up a part there. So I want this, again, reaching upwards, so anything that's hanging down too low I'll get rid of. Like this one. That's gone. Clean up a stub from last year's pruning here, or last summer's pruning. Take that one off there. This part is dead here. We'll take that off, and we'll take this one back to here. And I'm going to take this section off, simplifying that branch a bit. That looks good. That's got that branch pruned up. Now here's a branch that I can take this entire section off like that, keeping it kind of upright and reducing it back. It was getting too long and too vigorous. So again, I'll continue pruning away on all the trees, and we'll come back and see what it looks like. I finished the pruning on the forest. I tried to get it so it looks natural, random, a little chaotic in sections, not too contrived, so it doesn't look like, every branch is perfectly positioned to create this perfect artificial looking tree. It still looks like nature did all this, and nature did it. I just sort of guided it. So let's go in and have a look at it. Close up. We'll fly in now. So I'll show you all the apexes first. There's the big one with that carving on this side. The other one I carved. Then there's the one behind here. You can see they're a little thick up top, but not too bad. And there's another one. Then we come down to this front one, and then some of the ones behind, and they're looking quite good. They're nice and slim. So I think, you know, if I keep at it, I can keep these, you know, tops of the trees looking quite good. Let's have a look at the pruning now. There's kind of a look looking up at the forest. I've still got a little bit of cleanup work. I've got to get all these dead branches out of the forest floor. And I still have a bit of lichen to scrub off, so I'll do that tonight. It's kind of getting dark out now, so I should be able to get all that done before it turns pitch black. So I'm going to end the video here. That's, I think the large forest made great leaps forward this spring. I got the structure pruned up nice. I got my apexes corrected. I think it's taken another giant step forward. So the next step will be when all this spring foliage comes in, I'll be pruning it back, especially at the apexes, keeping them fairly tight. I don't want the apex to grow wild and vigorous, and that would thicken the apex up more. So I would rather it go wild and vigorous down low and keep the top trimmed up. So that's all the work for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.